Askreddit, girls, what was the most obvious hint you dropped, and the guy just didn't get it? My buddy in college was stressing over when to make the move to kiss a girl he liked. While we encouraged him to not wait for the perfect moment and just go for it, he admitted he should have tried to kiss her when they were in the shower. Edit, stressing, not staying in the shower? It's snowing. Just stay here. You can sleep in my bed. To be honest, I would just think to myself, she is really nice offering me that, I better not screw this up by trying to sleep with her. And then proceed to say, it doesn't seem so bad, but thank you. We were discussing costumes and I sent a picture of me in my bunny suit and said I'd need help out of it. His response was telling me he hoped my roommate was home or that would suck. I had to tell him I was implying I'd like him to take it off me and it took him a minute to catch up. Edit, for those of you concerned, it was very much a suggestive picture. I'm not sure it could have been perceived as just friendly, and no, you won't be getting proof of said picture for those in my DMs, lol. I was very much ready to hit him with the bat of bluntness because we get along great and he'd seemed flirty with me before. Bless you for hitting him with a bat. Edit, thanks Anon for my first award. And I'm very happy to see OC got silver as well. And thanks again. I just turn around and guild OC. Friend was complaining he was hot because of his long sleeve shirt. I said, oh, I'm sure you'd be just as hot without the shirt. He was so unaware, but I finally just kissed him. This one is really sweet. I once was modeling clothes I planned to take on vacation for my boyfriend. After showing off a couple of outfits, I told him to close his eyes and changed into lingerie. He opened his eyes and I asked him what he thought. His jaw dropped and he said, you can't wear that outside. I put my clothes back on. OMG, that gave me a good laugh. Complained I was a bit cold, so he gave me a blanket. I then told him there's space for two under the blanket, in an obvious flirting tone. He answered with no thanks, I'm not cold. I still tease him with it once in a while, we're married now. Haha, husbands, bless their hearts. When I went on the first date with my husband, we both lived in the same apartment complex. He had been there a while, so he knew most everybody that lived there, and I had just moved in. He was trying to guess which car was mine. And when he figured it out, he told me, you can tell a lot about somebody by their car. Expecting some cheesy line from him, I said, oh yeah. What can you tell? And he immediately started into a technical spiel about tread wear and tire alignment. I guess he was just trying to impress me with his knowledge because he worked at an auto body shop. It didn't even occur to him that it sounded like he was trying to flirt. I definitely still tease him about that. I went out of my way to come in early and talk to this guy every day for like a month before someone else told him I was into him. I also repeatedly told him I liked him. He thought I was just being nice. When a girl admits to liking you, a guy faces a dilemma. 1. You could be joking and pulling his leg. 2. You just sympathize for him, or you like him as a friend and that's it. I had a girl invite me round her house once just to show me her posters. They were all of Harley-Davidson motorbikes, and she said she's never ridden a Harley before. Awkward silence, and after a few other bits of small talk, I decided to be on my way. 2 years later, I'm sitting on the bus and realize what she meant. Harley. Ridden a Harley. My name is Harley. Damn, I feel so bad for her. That's a perfect line too. A guy I'm currently seeing invited me camping earlier this month. We were cuddling and I noted how nice the showers are in the bathroom at the provincial park. I said, they're really warm and lots of space for 2 people, trying to hint for him to join me for sexy time. This man, without missing a beat, says, actually, you could fit like 10 people in those showers. We laughed about it really hard the next weekend and he said, I knew what you were getting at, but my brain just wanted to answer it logically. I like that guy, smiley face. Literally said, I want to be yours, and the dude just keeps smiling and goes on about random space facts. That one hurt a bit. What was the coolest space fact? Edit, thanks for the other award, guys. Guy here. A girl took my hat off, started running her fingers through my hair and asked what did I do to get it so smooth. I proceeded to tell her all about the new shampoo I had switched to a month before until she cut me off. Well, don't leave us hanging, man. What's the shampoo? When I was like 15 to 16, this girl from school I had a huge crush on kept inviting me to her house when she was alone, wearing the smallest tops and asking for back massages. I never got the hint. Years later when I started going out with my now fiancé, that girl's sister tells my GF, "Hey, my sister had such a crush on him back in school. I was not a bright teenager." Geez, never missed one that obvious. A girl came to my house once and spent the night. Around the time for bed, she told me she doesn't sleep with a top on or panties. I told her that's okay, I'll sleep on the couch so she can be comfy. She called me from downstairs later that night and told me she couldn't sleep and she was cold. I figured, well, obviously, you're naked, so I gave her another blanket and went back downstairs. Edit, obligatory thank you for the silver and I am glad everyone is laughing at my pain. I've tried responding the best I can but some of you guys are getting weirdly mean and it kills the mood. Damn, I hope she wasn't hot. I'm sure if Emily, from 15 years ago, saw this thread, she'd say, invited this guy to my place after our date. Got him into my room, into my bed. He was just lying there so I told him my back was feeling sore, and asked him if he could give me a massage. His reply, "Oh, I don't want to crush you with my weight," he was about 170 pounds. Gave up and went to sleep. Truth is I did get the hint. But at the time I was a virgin, and I was convinced I had an STD, yeah, good combo. Turns out I didn't have an STD. Virgin with an STD. It's amazing what our teenage minds will come up with to make us even more awkward and weird. Not a girl, but I was staying a night at a hotel, and the hotel bar had just closed. I went out front for a smoke and start chatting with two women. We shoot the shit for a few minutes and then all head back into the hotel and to the elevator. We get in, they press 15, I press 9, and one of them turns to me and says, "I don't suppose there's a secret bar on the 9th floor we can go to?" My dumb ass responds, "No, but you can grab a cab and be at a bar in 10 minutes. Then the doors open and I leave." Edit, this is my most upvoted comment. Cool. This is amazing. How long did it take you to realize? Straight up told him I like him. I think his response was something like, "But I'm kinda trash," or something self-deprecating. He's friends with my best friend, and she confirmed that his depression is so bad that it takes a lot before he actually accepts any sort of positive attention. I think to some degree it's mutual? Hard to tell, as I too am oblivious when guys drop hints. Edit, so, this blew up more than I was expecting. Never had a comment get nearly this much attention. We're all on the same proverbial boat, it seems. Here's a summary of some common answers. Also quadruple A thank you for the silver. My first award. What happened after, we still talk nearly daily. No forward motion on the I like you front, but I'm gonna be there for him whether we're friends or something else. There's definitely some forky tendencies I suppose face with tears of joy, some solid points out there about the lack of compliments towards men. Everyone needs to be complimented here and there, whether it's about looks or talent or even just a nice shirt. Accepting them is hard as hell though. You like me? Well, that's a red flag. Invited him over to watch a movie, eventually laying my legs across his lap and hard flirting, but after 4 movies I had to finally make the move. Edit for clarification, we'd been flirting via text, sexting, exchanging nudes, etc. I had previously told him to his face that I liked him and I'm giving him the green light to make any move. Still nothing after a month of dating. I seem to always take the lead on things and I like assertiveness, but I wanted to give him the opportunity to feel like he could be in control, that it was okay. I was very direct many times, we'd had several discussions about it. Still nothing, even after I finally made the move I had to literally say, "I want to have sex with you," person shrugging light skin tone female sign. 4 movies in one night? Or like 4 evenings spread over a few weeks? Both seems astonishingly long time to get your hints. I'm not as brutally upfront as some of these people, but mine happened yesterday. How do I know a girl is flirting with me? He asks. She touches you a lot while you two are talking. I cannot relate at all. That never happens to me, I'm sure it does, I tell him and hit his arm. I can't think of any time that's ever happened. See, this is a rough one, because I had this one girl I'd talk to all the time, and she'd sit next to me in class. I had a huge crush on her, and she'd be overly touchy all the time. She'd occasionally even rest her head on my shoulder, sleep on it during class when she was tired. Just stare into my eyes for prolonged periods of time, and hug me. When I told her I had a crush on her, she shut me down completely, and told me she only saw me as a friend, smiley face. We were playing Don't Drink and Drive on Mario Kart. Just the two of us. I was trashing him, so L gave him a chance by lying sideways across his lap for the entire race. He didn't take the hint. We started dating 2 weeks after that. He was concentrating hard to not get an erection. He forgot about you for a while. I asked a guy on a festival to come take a shower with me. He didn't get it. He just repeated there was only one free shower and I was like, well they're big, I'm sure it's fine, and he just looked confused and told me I could go first. We became close friends since that happened about 2 years ago, and this summer I spoke to him about it and he really had no idea. He did the biggest facepalm I've ever seen. Honestly, I feel this one. I was at my sister's a few weeks ago, and her boyfriend was in taking a shower. I was about to get into the other shower, and my sister says, I'll be in the shower if you need me. Me, isn't, boyfriend, in the shower right now? Her, yes. Me, so you're showering in a few minutes, not now. Her, no me, but, boyfriend, is already in there. Her, yes, me. Her, me, oh, facepalm. Guy here but once had a girl drag me into the bathroom while at a college party saying she needed help finding her marker pen. We didn't find it and I figured out what was really going on a year later. It was in her butthole, _Sue_. One time a girl straight up asked if I wanted to take my pants off and I didn't get it. I was like, nah, they're actually not uncomfortable at all. Usually when girls ask you to take off your pants, it's for their comfort. No one wants to come in contact with the kind of tough fabric a lot of pants are made of when they're sleeping. Also, always take off your belt. That's just cruel to accidentally poke someone with your belt buckle. I used to be oblivious, probably still am. There was a girl at a local grocery store who was flirting with me, but of course, I didn't get it. After quite a bit of this, I leave town for a few months and we're corresponding via email. I can't remember why, but I was asking her a string of silly questions, like, why is the sky blue? Chicken or the egg first? Where do babies come from, etc. She answered them all, saving, where do babies come from for last, and answered it with, when you get back I'm going to show you. I got that one. So, where do babies come from? Did she show you? Asking for a friend here. Asking him to take picture with me, hugged him a couple of times, told him he has nice hair, started smelling him and told him he smells nice. I even looked in his eyes for like 2 minutes. Turned out he was gay LMAO. Wait, these are all signs? Oh dear. My fiancé thinks leaving my bedroom door open when she spent the night, when we were just friends, and she lived out of town, and there was absolutely no reason for me to think anything romantic was going on, was obvious. I got up and closed the door because the AC was on and was low-key miffed. Edit, we were friends for a long time before we got together and she had a meeting early in the morning, so I gave her my bed and slept on the couch. She left the door open thinking I would take the hint. Do you know how creepy it would be if you tried to hop into bed without her asking if she wasn't into you? This was some years ago. I was 22, had been talking to this guy for a while, and was ready to lose my virginity. I was a college student living at home, but my mom and stepdad were on vacation celebrating their anniversary, and I figured this would be the perfect time to make my move. He and I already had a date scheduled, so before we went, I cleaned my room and the entire house from top to bottom, created a chill playlist on my computer to listen to, shaved, waxed every necessary inch of my body from the forehead down, put on sexy underwear, and waited for him to pick me up. We went out to the movies, and when he dropped me off at home, I invited him in with the added context and in a leading, flirty tone of voice that we would be all alone and had all the time in the world to do whatever he wanted. He said, that's alright, I'm sure you want to enjoy this time you get without your parents to be alone. He was sure, and he was wrong. I just stared at him for like 10 solid seconds in silence before I nodded, said, yeah that's true, and got out of the car. The walk from my driveway to the front door was the real walk of shame, and I hadn't even gotten any good sex out of it. After that, I sat in my very clean house in my sexy underwear, eating pizza and wondering how that could have gone differently. It was my first time trying to seduce a guy into sex and it failed miserably. I laughed about it though, and I still laugh about it now. I just figured it wasn't in the cards for me yet. Ended up losing my virginity a few more years later to the guy I'm currently engaged to, so it worked out wonderfully. He's pretty good at picking up what I'm throwing down. Lol. I am a guy, but I can share my density as the guy that missed the hints. I went to a store where there was a girl I liked in college. We used to small talk while I browsed and never bought anything, being a poor college student. This time I came in the store and she said hi and we chatted a bit while I shopped. She complained, "I'm going to be home alone tonight, my family is out of town." I replied, "Oh, that's too bad." She says, "I'm off at 5 today, it was 4 at the time, what are you up tonight?" "I'm up for anything." "Oh, nothing, just sitting at home and watching a movie." My brain must have completely self-destructed, because the conversation ended there. I never saw her again after that, she either quit, or was avoiding me. I must have been in a daze from school to miss that cue. School does that to me too, plus the fact that I'm shy and therefore believe I never get attention adds to the oblivious bliss. I freaking made out with him, but apparently because I didn't sleep with him on the first date he thought I wasn't interested. That's just sad. On our first date, my current boyfriend and I went out to dinner, to a bar, and eventually back to his house to watch scary movies. After hanging out for almost 8 hours at that point, practically cuddling into him the entire time we were watching movies, dropping as many hints as I could, around 3 a.m. when we were both fighting to stay awake, I finally had to look his dumbass in the eye and ask, "So are you going to kiss me or not?" Though he was totally oblivious, it did show his good heart. He was about to let me fall asleep on his couch and spend the night without even trying to kiss me. I knew he was a keeper after that. Though he was totally oblivious, it did show his good heart. He was about to let me fall asleep on his couch and spend the night without even trying to kiss me. I knew he was a keeper after that. His evil plan worked flawlessly. I'm a guy, but one time I was hanging with a longtime friend of mine who I used to have a crush on and who knew that I had a crush on her and had rejected me numerous times over 7 to 8 years in her dorm. We decided that we were both tired, but her other bed was occupied by our other friend, so I was gonna lay down on the floor. She was like, "There's room in my bed for you anytime." So I hop in bed with her thinking nothing of it. The next few minutes were kind of a blur, but eventually we were literally hugging with her leg wrapped around me and she looked me in the eyes, bit her lip and said that she was horny. I never made a move beyond that, since she had spent the past almost decade of my life rejecting my advances. That wasn't a hint, that was plain, "I want to have sex with you." But it was smart of you not to go any further with that, it would have only exacerbated your feelings and confused you even more, although I'm sure that alone confused you. It's completely fine if she doesn't want to be with you, but she shouldn't have tried to take advantage of you in that moment. Guy here and been told this by colleagues. Had a date with a girl I kissed at a festival. I got her number after that first kiss and asked if she'd be down to meet in less drunk circumstances. We met, we talked and I walked her home. She asked me if she could hug me and if I wanted to sleep over. I told her I had a 40 minutes drive back home. Now I saw this as an act of politeness. My female coworkers claimed it was definitely more. I still don't know though. Edit, LMAO, this blew up, what a wake-up call though. Face with tears of joy. Unfortunately karma doesn't wipe mental tears. Face with tears of joy. Edit 2, quite sad that this is also my top comment now, geez. How to say this gently? You made the wrong call, bud. I threw my panties at him and he kept explaining God of War lore. Man of culture. He invited me to his house to watch a movie after a few dates. He ended up playing League of Legends for hours while I was laying in his bed and asked him many times if he would like to join. Sorry, just one more match. We dated for 2 years. LMAO, League will do that to a guy. And source, League player, can't tear myself away and I hate it. We were talking about canoes and I said, I'm like a canoe because I'm wet and you can go inside me, and he said, canoes aren't really wet. Edit, some PPL think he was rejecting me but we ended up dating for 2 years. The thing is, if he did acknowledge the sign, how should he have responded? I'm a guy but I have a story. A couple of years ago a cute girl at the cash register in a local supermarket, where I was a regular customer at every night, said to me in a clearly flirty way, with a big smile, "Oh, I though you're not coming today, I'm so happy to see you." Her face was shining when she said this, but the dumbass I didn't realize this and my response was, "But why?" As I said this her face went red and I could hear the glass shatter sound echoing in her. I have other stories too, because usually I get the hints 5 years after they happened. You ended that girl's dating career right there. My girlfriend wants me to write it from her perspective, something that freezes my bloodstream every time I remember how I almost never got the girl I had a crush on for almost a year. I knew Grumpy Pantaloon was into me, but I wanted him to do the first move. One night he got the courage to invite me for a drink when we met at a bar. Next day, knowing he works in IT, I pretended I need some help with my computer. Before he came, I sent him a text asking what kind of wine he prefers. He arrived and he obviously thought he is there to fix my laptop. I made up some stupid problem with setting the volume in a movie player, which he showed me immediately how to do properly. I sat next to him on the couch, gave him all sorts of looks and hints and waited for something, no move, not even some shy, accidental touch of hands. So I got up, and said I need to go to the bathroom to freshen up. When I got back, horny AF, he was already waiting at the door, saying it's getting late. It was 7 p.m. I lived in an building that required a key card also for leaving the main entrance, so I had to go down with him. Dreadful awkward elevator ride. After he stepped out, he turned around and though maybe he finally got it, maybe he understood why I am so pissed. He just waved goodbye and left. He sent me like 60 roses the next day. Took him a full 24 hours to realize he was not invited to fix my computer. But the next evening, I still had to kiss him first, because he was, and still is, a clueless moron. As a guy, to any girls reading this, you have no idea how easy it is to miss hints. Please be more obvious. We are also really bad at being scared of taking signals wrong. Edit. Post-award edits are so last year, so suffice it to say waking up to 37 new messages gave me a small, what have I posted, heart attack this morning. You are all very kind. That is totally true. For Valentine's a couple of years ago, I mailed my husband a package. The note said, and I quote, "I want you now." I was ready to spring into some extra fun sexy time whenever he opened the package. I had to sit him down and explain a couple of hours later. He was like, "Oh. Yeah. My wife's learned to just holler, 'Come to bed now, otherwise I'm a dumbass that doesn't get it.'" I'm a guy, but I once had an experience where I took the hint but still got rejected. A girl had asked me if I lost my virginity yet. We were in high school. When I said I hadn't, she said that I could practice on her whenever I want, mind you we walking home after school because we lived close. I tried to act on this hint when we get to her house and she said she was only joking and doesn't want it to be weird with us as friends. Every guy's worst fear right here. We matched on Bumble dating app that the girl has to talk first, and I started a convo with him. He thought I just matched him because we were friends. No, it's a dating app. We didn't start dating until almost a year after that. We are married now. He thought I just matched him because we were friends. No, it's a dating app. You'd be surprised at the number of women who have profiles on Tinder and the like for finding friends only. If you're looking for a girlfriend or sex, go away. Also, I've matched with friends before and she'd always be like, "Lol, I didn't realize that you were on Tinder." And when I start flirting they'd be like, "Oh no, I'm not interested in you like that." Please subscribe. Multiple videos uploaded daily.